Hi, my name is Katie Norton, and this is Tech Tools in Kindergarten. You can follow me on Twitter at Mrs. Norton Kinder or on my blog at katienorton.org. So this is my family, just a little bit about myself. This is my ninth year teaching. My fifth year in kindergarten, I taught a little bit in fifth grade and second grade as well. I have two boys, Riggs and Titus. Riggs is 5 and just started kindergarten this year, and Titus is 3. So as we kind of start this presentation and walk through the different tech tools that I've used in my classroom and meaningful ways to use them, I want you to think about where you are on your tech journey. I really like this picture just to think about. Some of us may be in a valley right now. We're really struggling with tech tools. Some of us might be climbing up to a peak of a mountain. Someone else might be on a peak over here. No matter where you are, as long as you are trying to move forward and better yourselves, you are on the right path. I love to do little takeaways, giveaways for things that we've learned together or something you learned from me. So I would love for you to tweet. Make sure you include my Twitter handle at Mrs. Norton Kinder and our Home Learning Summit hashtag, and I will tag the winner with a prize. So many of you have probably seen this same model. It's older, but I really like just the different levels and how it makes me think about technology. You might be at the spot where you don't use any technology. Maybe you know how to use some, but you just haven't implemented it into your classroom yet. You might be at the substitution level where the tech acts as a direct tool substitute with no functional change. So basically, you're putting a worksheet on your iPad. You're just substituting it. There's no real functional change to it. Then if you go a little deeper, it's augmentation, where the tech acts as a direct tool substitute, but has a functional improvement. Modification is next, and that is where tech allows for significant task redesign. And then the deepest one, redefinition, where the tech allows for creation of new tasks previously inconceivable. So as you're thinking, where are you on this model? Sorry, I know it skipped ahead, but maybe you're just at that substitution level, and that's okay. Maybe you can learn something today that can move you to that next level. I always love going down memory lane, and this didn't work before, but let's see if it does now. Doesn't look like the sound is working, but that's okay. Think about when we got online or got on AOL, that dial-up sound, and we just kind of sat there for about 5 minutes until it actually connected. That just brings me down memory lane, and just reminds me that like our kids these days don't know that, and that's okay. That's not their world they grew up in. And then of course our cell phones. We have seen cell phones evolve from these huge, big, chunky phones to these really small, slender cell phones. I remember when my dad got this biggest one to the left. I thought it was so cool. And then I think my phone was one of the ones more towards the middle and the right. But our friends, our students today and our kids today haven't seen these before. So this is just not their world that they live in. And then Blockbuster, good old Blockbuster. We had 5 kids in my family. So we would go on the weekends, we'd each get a movie. If it wasn't behind the little stand, then it was all out. That was just a fun adventure, and our kids can get a movie these days in the snap of a finger. And so this just reminds me that, yes, technology looks different these days, and then we also kind of have to set our expectations. Like our kids do not know any of this, and that's okay. You know, they know technology to be different. And so what they use technology for is probably different than what we used it for when we were growing up. Okay, so a little bit about my technology story. I started in 5th grade and then 2nd grade for 3 years. And the year I started my first year teaching, Chromebooks were introduced. And so I had to first learn a Chromebook, and then 2, I really was just struggling my first year. You know, that first year of teaching is hard. And so I really stayed in that substitution level for those first 3 years. You know, I kind of just substituted things because that's the best I could do at that time. When I switched to kindergarten in the new district I'm in now, they got iPads that year. So not only did I have to learn a new grade, I also had to learn the iPad and then ways to use it with kindergartners, because that's completely different than in 2nd or 5th grade. So I feel like I'm slowly moving deeper in that same model. But wherever you are, that's where you are and that's where you're comfortable. So maybe something that you see today can push you to the next level. I hope so, at least. All right, here are some of the tools that I've been loving in my classroom. The first one is Epic. Love Epic. I'm sure you've heard of it. We use it a lot in my classroom for research time or inquiry time, where they get to kind of research whatever they are interested in. And so making those collections and then sending that collection to those kids can really help with our friends who maybe can't spell the word they're researching, or they can't yet read a book. So having those books that read to them is super helpful for that research time. And then I also use Epic for nonfiction text features. When we go over those, I teach them how to screenshot, and then they insert that picture into a Pic Collage on the app Pic Collage. And it is that substitution level, but it is fun for them to learn that screenshot skill and then just putting it in a fun way on that template. The next one I also love is PebbleGo. We use this as well for research. They have a couple different ways they can research in my room, and PebbleGo is an amazing one. They type in what they're learning about, and then if you look, there are those blue and then purple tabs. When you click on those, there's a microphone that reads each section to them, which is great. And some of the PebbleGo pages have videos at the bottom. So if they're learning about sharks and there's a video, of course they love watching those videos. So this is another great one for research. All right, so I learned about Google Docs in the spring when we switched to remote learning then, and I never really dove into it because it just seemed overwhelming. But honestly, they are amazing. We actually embedded these into our learning management system. We use Canvas, and so it's super easy. You just go to File, Publish to the web, and then you copy the embed code and paste that in, and it pulls up so beautifully. And it's just super easy to embed those and have the kids really have just time to explore. So we put these two things in our modules, and it was kind of just an extra for the kids to do if they needed it or if the parents wanted it. This virtual field trip, they could click on each different box and watch a live camera or learn about some of those animals. And then if you don't follow Christine Dixon on Twitter, you need to. She has created and continues to create so many amazing STEAM activities, and she shares them for free. Like, this is where I got this science one, and this was actually just the S slide of her whole STEAM Google Doc that she made. But you can see there's videos to watch, there are pictures that will pull up videos, there's things you can read and explore, but they're amazing. And I haven't dove too far into making like a Google Doc or Google presentation like she has, so it's just awesome to have those resources at the tip of your finger. I've been using them as well for just extras for when families need that. But again, those are really awesome. Follow Christine Dixon on Twitter for sure. And then clips. This was a fun one my kids used. We used it for retelling. So they took a picture of their book and they had to retell, the character, setting, beginning, middle, end. And then we've also used it just for like reading a book and also for researching.
This book is called Silly Willy, and the setting is in his bedroom, and the characters are.
I won't make you watch it all, but here's the clip.
This book is called Silly.
Here we go. So then the next one is when she was done researching about frogs, she made like a video to sum up all the things she learned. Let's listen to that. Let's see if it works. Not working. Okay. Well, they had to find 3 things they learned about their animal, and then they shared them on the video. So this is actually on an iPad already, the Clips app, so you don't even have to download it. Really easy tool for our young ones to create some videos. All right, this next one I really, really fell in love with at the end of the year last year. It's our Adobe Spark Video. I have used it a lot for myself to deliver things to my class, whether it's a quick video of an assignment. Students can also use Adobe Spark Video to deliver their research content that they've learned, or just a fun, engaging way to share information. So I'll show you a real quick one.
Hello, my friends. Remember last Friday, we took a nature walk and collected loose parts from nature. You are going to need those loose parts today. We are going to make our names with those loose parts. These are some examples of our names. This is my grown-up name, Erica.
And I'll stop it. But we chose this year, since we started out virtually, every Wednesday was going to be some type of outdoor learning activity.
This is Boyd.
And so we have been using Adobe Spark Video to create it as a grade level kindergarten team and then embed it into Canvas so our students can kind of see what they're doing, see examples, and it's just an engaging way, those videos, to present some information.
Hello, my friend.
Okay. Our next is Adobe Spark Post. My friends love Adobe Spark Post. We used to use Pic Collage, honestly wasn't as great as Adobe Spark Post, so this is probably one of my favorite tech tools to use. My friends use this when they're done with their research and they want to share. And so two of my friends, one was learning about fish and recycling, so they were, when you go in there, you can choose different backgrounds that match your topic, or you can have ones that are already made, like this recycling template. So if you type in your topic, a lot of times it will already auto-populate some ideas for you. And then usually on Fridays, they would airdrop these to me and I would print them off so they could have a hard copy of it. But Adobe Spark Post is amazing. I've also used it as a teacher to share out dates and quotes, not only to my families, but things on Twitter and social media as well. The next one is Flipgrid. I love Flipgrid. I have used it a couple different ways. New student family introductions. Beginning of the year, I sent out a code to my families and they just introduced themselves so they could kind of meet our families. And especially right now with virtual learning, that would be a really great way for families to get to know one another. I've used it as a reflection tool. At the end of a lesson, my friends will record what they need or things that I could help them with, and then the next day, that's an easy way for me to kind of create groups and lessons I can teach for those friends. And then also collaborating with other classes. You know, we collaborated with a high school class that we couldn't see in person, and we just sent them the code so they could give us some feedback on our research. So let me show just a couple of these videos.
Hi everybody, we're the Emi family.
My name is Edison. This is my mom and dad and my brother Elliot and then Lee.
And how old is Elliot?
2 and 3.
He's 3. And how old's Elise?
7 and a half.
So you get the gist. They're sharing about their family, which was awesome. This is a reflection from my friend.
Penguins.
Hi everybody, we're the Emi family.
So if you could help me. My name is Edison. Penguins can swim.
Sorry, friends. So Benjamin right here on the reflection said he needed help for me showing how to make an iMovie. So then the next day, that was super easy for me to pull him aside and say, hey, what do you need help with? Show me what you need. And then at the bottom, my friends read their research, and then you'll see how these high school students responded to them.
Penguins cannot breathe underwater. Most penguins live around Antarctica.
All right, let's watch this one.
We could understand everything you were saying. You pronounced everything right. Your drawings are really, really good. And your topic is really good too. A question I have is how many different kind of penguins are there?
So I thought that was fun. I asked the high schoolers to give a compliment and then
We could understand everything you were saying.
and then also share a question. So then my friends could go back and add a little bit more to their research.
We could understand.
Okay, the next one is Flipgrid Shorts. This one I learned about this summer and fell in love with it. It's even better than Flipgrid, I feel. But it's just a really easy way to teach content and kind of like a how-to. So I want to show you the one I created. If it will let me. Well, on your Flipgrid short, you can put a document so you can reference whatever you're trying to show the kids. You can type in a little box of like to-dos. You can draw like a dry erase board on it. It's super easy. Again, you can just embed it right into whatever learning management system you are using. Super easy, quick, fun way to just deliver content. The next one is Shadow Puppet. I have used this a couple different ways. The first one is they take a picture of their writing, especially at the beginning of the year. It's super helpful because they're just those beginner spellers, and although they may know what they wrote, teachers may not or their friends may not. So then they share what they wrote. An ABC check. I'm just taking a picture of their ABC chart and going through the letters, pictures, and sounds. We've used it as with fluency checks and then also with my exceptional learners and E&L friends. You know, that speaking and listening is super big for them, and they may not have those skills yet to write. So having a picture and then verbally sharing what they drew or wrote about is really, really helpful. Let's see if this one works.
On my video, it says, I use JoJo for playing.
And this one's just a simple ABC check.
And apple. On my video, and apple, B, ball, book, C, cat, cup.
Right. And the next one, this one I used at the beginning of the year and I absolutely love it, Book Creator. I used it to make a class book all about our friends in our class. Since we were starting virtually, I wanted a way for my friends just to have a book to kind of go back and see who's who, what they love. But you could also use it to share like a final product of a research or inquiry project. So I created this first page. Myself, a picture, and then things that we will do in our classroom. It's super awesome. You can upload videos, audio, words, pretty much anything into here. And then you have to turn on your collaboration tool. And I signed up for the free 90-day trial so I could have a free book for my class. And once you turn on that collaboration tool, you are able to send each student a unique link, and everyone can work on it by themselves. So I just put my students' names at the top of each page and told them to work on it, over the next couple weeks. And then once everyone had their pages in there, we kind of went through the book and everyone got to share about their page. And then it's fun too because I can store it digitally to share with families, and I can also print it out for our classroom. So Book Creator, it has an app, but I found that Book Creator 1 online, just going to the website, was a little bit more friendlier for me and my students as well. All right, that was so much information at you in just a little bit of time. So if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. I would love to help get you started with a tech tool or answer any questions about the ones I shared today. My email is kruhl1120@gmail.com. And don't forget about the giveaway. If you want to tweet a takeaway you had from our time together or something that you learned, I would love to hear. Make sure you include the hashtag Home Learning Summit and tag me at Mrs. Norton Kinder. All right, if you want to scan this feedback code, I would love to know what I can do better, what you loved, just so I can as well grow and learn a little bit more of how to serve you better and other teachers better. And then these are some tech people I follow, and many of these people gave me ideas for these tech tools and kind of got me started on it. So Monica Burns, she is at Class Tech Tips on Twitter and Instagram, and she has a really awesome podcast called Easy Ed Tech Podcast. Just tons of information from her, and in her newsletter she sends out as well. And then Cami Butterfield, she's on Twitter and Instagram and has her own website. She is a paper-free classroom, so she does so many things with tech tools all day in her classroom. And then who I shared earlier, Christine Dixon, she is on Twitter at Christine Dixon, and then Make, Design, and Innovate on Instagram. So those are some awesome people to follow as well to kind of get these tech tool ideas to use in your classroom. So I hope you enjoyed and learned something. I love using tech tools in my classroom, and I really love to find ways to make them meaningful, not just a way to put kids on an iPad and just let them consume, but instead let them create and innovate in different ways that maybe they don't know how to do yet. So I hope that was helpful. Thanks for stopping by.